All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dids in the Dugout. This is going to be our Week 12 gambling show here. Football season's kind of flown by on us a little bit. I was kind of looking back through it, trying to figure out what week it was. I was kind of blown away. It was Week 12 already, so it's trucking on along here, getting towards the end of the season. Chad opened up his lead a little bit more over the week, went 4-2. Before we get into all of that, obviously,
great. Yeah, before we get into all of that, congratulations, Chad. Great week.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
great week. So, but each and every week brought to you by Rhythm, the one of the best sports handicapping apps out there. They call it the future of sports betting, and I'm starting to get on board with that a little bit. All the stuff they keep adding to it seems like I've got to update the app every week or two because the new stuff they're adding. The college basketball, like we mentioned last week, is up and going on that app. That's gone pretty well for me. Created a couple models there, still tracking some stuff. And then obviously NBA, college football, NFL, any sport you want to bet, handicap, they have it on that app and different models you can create to kind of help you out through that and kind of guide you through that process. So huge shout out to them. Thanks for being here for most of the season with us. And I know I've really enjoyed using it. So big thanks to them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's basketball season's right around the corner, or it's already here. Have you started? Has it been helping you on the basketball side?
Yeah. It's been really good for totals on me. That's where I've really benefited from.
Yeah, it's funny because it took me a minute to get a model that tested positive for totals. But once I did, I'm looking at it right now. Once I did, it was pretty profitable. So don't give up just because your back tests, aren't testing green every time. Keep adjusting those sliders, and get what you're looking for. And then once you start tracking your bets, you'll see the results.
Yeah, absolutely. I think mine right now with the totals is it fluctuates, but it's staying anywhere from 56 to 60% so far early on. So just gonna keep tracking it day after day and make sure those numbers hold up. And as long as they do, I'm gonna keep using it that way. So big thanks to them. Really, really cool app. Y'all need to go check them out. 14-day free trial. If y'all download the app, that's RITHMM, and you get 14 days free. So y'all go check them out and see if they can turn y'all's gambling year around like they have mine. All right, so looking back at last week, nobody had a losing week as far as record goes, so I think that's good. Me and Hitch each went 3-3.
Good job,
yeah, but because I only went half a unit on my plus money play, I was in the positive for the first time in what feels like about 2 months on the show.
Yeah, no better time than the present.
Yeah, that's right. So a little late season run coming your way. So I was 3-3 plus 0.3 units last week. Hitch 3-3 minus 0.2, and Chad 4-2 plus 1.8 units. So he has expanded his lead. He is up plus 4.22 units, and Hitch is plus 1 unit even there. So right behind him. So we will get back into this week and see if Hitch can close the gap. And yes, I'm still down huge. That hasn't changed one bit. So my goal is to get to minus 15 units for the year. That's what I'm working for now. That's how bad things have gone so far.
Where are you at now? Just so we know.
I need to know if you are trying. Okay. I didn't know if you were trying to lose more to get to 15, or if you needed to win to get to 15.
Oh, that's a good
question. No. I lost enough to get to 15 a long time ago. So we're trying to fill that hole back up a little bit, see if I can at least get my nose above water. It's not going to happen, obviously. So, but yeah, we'll go ahead and dive into this week, and as tradition, we will start with Chad.
All right. There's not a lot of great games this week.
There's not. But there are games that I do love, though. Like I actually didn't mind the betting board this week.
Yeah, there's a few games that I found. I got, I think I have 7 plays already. Obviously, I'm only going to get 5 here. But first one I'll give out is Western Kentucky minus 11.5 against Sam Houston. I did not get the best odds at 123. Bet online was really sticking on that 11.5. But Western Kentucky, one of the big narratives that you can play this time of year is who's still got chances for a bowl versus who doesn't. Western Kentucky's 5-5. They still have a chance to make a bowl. They shouldn't have any issues slowing down the Sam Houston offense, who's been better, but they're still not a very good unit. They're 111th in offensive PPA, and their defense has actually slipped a little bit. That was their strength earlier on, and they're starting to weaken a little bit. So while Western Kentucky's offense isn't really anything special, they do like to run the ball, and that's where Sam Houston's defense has been the least effective. So, I'll take a stab. Under 2 touchdowns at home. Give me Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
Has Sam Houston won?
One that I looked at.
Yes, they have won.
Did they get the win? Okay. I knew they were 2 games in a row super close and blew it in the last quarter or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and they were actually favored in both of those games because I took the underdog money line in both of them.
Yeah, they beat Kennesaw State, and then last week they beat Louisiana Tech.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they'd beat La Tech last week.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that'll make me feel better with one of my picks later on then. All right, Hitch, what do you got first up?
First up, Georgia Southern -6. Old Dominion. Old Dominion's offense is real bad. It's not like Georgia Southern is real good on defense, but there are areas that they have a significant advantage over the Old Dominion offense. 3rd downs, forcing field goals, and creating havoc. The Old Dominion offense ranks in the bottom of the country, in all of those, and Georgia Southern is right in the middle. So I think probably see some turnovers. Old Dominion may move the ball a little bit, but Georgia Southern forces some field goals, and then ultimately, coming out victorious there at home.
Statesboro, real tough place to play.
Yeah, in Statesboro, I think Statesboro's a tough place to play. I heard that
it's way tougher than Atlanta, apparently.
Yeah, but I had the home team there in that tough place to play. -6 under a touchdown against a real bad team, so I'll take that one.
Yeah, I actually love this play. This is another one that I looked at. Georgia Southern, they kind of had it clicking about all year long. They're a really good Group of 5 program. Like I said, Old Dominion, I think, has improved since last year, but they're still not a very good team. So I love Georgia Southern less than a touchdown here at home.
Yep.
All right, my first game of the week, we are going to travel up the road to Oxford, Mississippi at 11 o'clock. We have the Ole Miss Rebels and the UL Monroe Warhawks. I'm going to take the under 63 on this one. I don't have a lot of confidence in Monroe being able to move the ball, much less score. They're without their quarterback. He's been out the last couple of weeks. They haven't fared super well offensively against a lot lesser competition. With the backup that's in there right now, they also lost a big wide receiver last week as well. In that game, he's not going to play this week. I think this offense really struggles. I think Ole Miss jumps out to a big lead here, and damn it, we better get Quinshawn, Dart, all those guys off the field. Get these backups in there. Let them play. I just don't think ULM is going to be able to contribute much to this 63, and I don't think Lane's care too much about running it up on Terry Bowden and the folks from Monroe. So I love the under 63 here.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a pretty slow first quarter myself. It may be a slow game for Ole Miss. A physical game like last week. Teams usually, don't have the best week following up with that. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes well under that total. So I like that play a lot.
Yeah. All right, Jeb.
Very valid points.
Boise -3.5 against Utah State in Logan -113. Boise's 5th in PPA on rushing plays. Utah State's 112th against the run, same metric, and they're 123rd in points per opportunity on D. I do think Boise's defense is going to give up some points, but I do think that Boise is going to be able to put up more. I got it. The 3.5. Normally, that's a number I don't love, but it's a high total, so I don't think that it's going to play that much of a factor. I think the total's in the 60s. So I'll take the Broncos on the road.
I looked at this one.
Yeah.
I looked at Boise.
Yeah,
I always look at Boise.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Hitch.
Well, I'm going to go down the road a little bit to Starkville, Mississippi, and give me the under 46.5 between USM and the Fighting Ben Berry Hills. All three of my rhythm models liked this one. If the Southern Miss offense excels at anything, it's the run game.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, if the state defense does anything well, it's against the run.
Yep.
And state gives up a ton of points once teams get across the 40 and the red zone. But on the other side, USM kicks a lot of field goals. So hoping maybe, some of that averages out a little bit. And if, USM does get across the 40, I don't expect them to move the ball a lot, but if they do get across the 40, state will force some field goals. I did look at the injury report this week, which I forgot to do last week. And Will Rogers looks like, he may be back, but, is he 100%? Will it even make a difference? We don't know what's going on with that program. They've, fired the coach. Players are coming out saying they're transferring to the in-state rival. There's a lot of turmoil going on in that program, so they may just lay down. Who knows it? I don't think they combined to score more than 46 points, so I'm going to take this under.
Yeah, I actually looked at this game for Southern Miss plus 14. That was one of them that I was considering. A lot of the reasons you said. Number one, I don't think this is going to be a lot of points scored in this game. So when you're talking about having to cover 2 touchdowns, then that's kind of tricky. And then also, like you said, Arnett getting fired, has this team quit, but every now and then you do get a little bit of a bump from an interim coach, there's a little bit of excitement that comes in with it. So maybe these guys show up and play for him. Will Rogers is coming back. He hasn't been all that impressive this year when he has played. But again, in-state program that you're playing, one that quite frankly you can't lose. It's one of the reasons Ole Miss never plays them, right? Because you gain absolutely nothing from beating them, and you lose everything if you were to lose this game.
Absolutely.
I think it's a terrible, terrible game for state to be playing 5 days before the Egg Bowl. So whoever made this schedule needs to be fired along with Zach Arnett to have this game in this position. But I do kind of like Southern Miss plus 14 in this spot, just because, like you said, Hitch, I don't expect a lot of points to get scored here. So covering 2 touchdowns is going to be tough. And Southern Miss has played a lot better in the last couple of weeks as well.
They have played better.
So, all right, my second game, I'm going to go Jacksonville State -8 against La Tech.
Your Gamecocks.
Yeah, going back to the well, man. They've been good to me this year, so I can't quit them quite yet. La Tech gives up 5 yards per rush. They really struggle against the running game. I think overall they've given up like 2,200 yards rushing so far this year, along with 25 touchdowns. They can't stop the run. Rich Rod is going to run it down their throats all game long. And this Jacksonville State defense, I know I said it a couple weeks ago when they played South Carolina, the defense is really good. That's what's really impressed me every time I've watched them is how physical they are, and they create a ton of turnovers. So I think Jacksonville State at home, I don't know if they've gotten their ruling back on their bowl game for this year yet. I know James Madison got denied on Tuesday, I think it was. Haven't seen a ruling on Jacksonville State yet. So maybe with that being kind of still up in the air, they still have something to play for. Could potentially still go to the conference championship game if they end up getting past this one too. So a lot to play for Jacksonville State. So give me the Gamecocks -8 at home against La Tech.
Yeah, I looked at this one too. Couldn't find enough to pull the trigger, but Jacksonville State, Rich Rod's done a good job this his first season there. It's been pretty impressive.
Yeah, it really has.
All right. Give me Mississippi State -14.
Oh, there it is.
-110. So go ahead, Hitch. What are you going to say?
I don't know what it was, but when I said that, I kept making eye contact with you all, and the look that you were giving me, I was just like, he's fixing to do something.
Well, no, you said down the road, and I'm like, down the road from Boise. That's a very long road to go down. I don't know what you're talking about. But so, as bad as the season has gone for Mississippi State, they are still technically bowl eligible. So there is still something to play for from a bowl game perspective. Yes, Zach Arnett is gone, But Greg Knox, their interim, this is his second time as the interim coach. So he's got some experience there. I'm hoping he's going to be able to rally the troops a little bit because, like you said, Derek, there can be a little bit of a bump when you have a coach like that. And Hitch, you hit on some of the points there regarding the stats. Southern's defense is not good, one of the worst in the country. And while Will Rogers has not been great, he's still one of the most decorated passers in SEC history. So I do think they'll be able to put some points up. And State's defense, like you also said, they don't do a lot great, but they do stop the run game pretty well, and that is where Southern excels. This is a game State can't lose for all the reasons that have already been said. So I would love 13.5, but I'll take the 14 in Starkville minus 110.
Yeah, I can't argue with anything you said. Like I said, there's a reason I wasn't able to pull the trigger on Southern Miss plus 14, and it's everything you just laid out right there. So I'll end up staying away from that side of it. But yeah, I mean, I could absolutely see them kind of rally around Knox as the coach here, and then you get Will Rogers, who's ton of experience playing in this league. So I could absolutely see it happening, but I'm going to stay away from it myself. And quite frankly, Chad, I've never wanted you to lose a bet more in my entire life than this one.
I probably will at this point. So I got to lose at some point, right? Considering the hot streak I've been on, it's bound to happen, Derek.
So. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All of averages and all.
Yeah.
All right, Hitch, go ahead. So he'll quit talking.
UCLA hasn't looked great the past 2 weeks. All three of their quarterbacks are banged up. Chip Kelly's on the hot seat, hotter than a dancing bobcat. Did's reference there.
That's right.
So
it's actually a Simpson reference.
Right.
If we're given the proper credit.
Citations, thank you. But I'm still looking at the Bruins to cover this 6 or to stay within the number here on the road. I would love it to get another half point higher.
Yeah.
But as I started digging into it, as much firepower as the USC offense has had or shown this season, it's no secret it struggles against a better defense. I was thinking earlier, like UCLA has kind of quietly had a very good defensive season. I don't know how quietly, it just doesn't seem anybody's talking about it. They're 25th in overall defensive success, 10th in defensive PPA allowed, 6th and 28th in rush and pass PPA, respectively. Top 20 in the country when it comes to yards per catch, yards per carry. So they're very good on the defensive side. I think that it's going to give Caleb Williams USC problems. And Chip Kelly's back's against the wall. If he beats USC, he's going to be in the situation that Texas A&M was trying to avoid when they went ahead and fired Jimbo last week. If he beats USC, it's going to be tough to fire him. Mm-hmm. So, he's going to go all out. And the last thing I've got here is the road team has won this game the last 3 times. So here we go. I think UCLA at least covers the 6.5. If you can buy it, if you can buy the half point at a number that makes sense, buy the half point to 7, right? I'm going to, but I think they cover the 6.5.
Yeah, and with that defense that USC has, when you're talking about covering almost a touchdown, then it's going to be tough, right? That's a lot of points. Now they're going to put up a ton themselves, but with Caleb Williams back there had an incredible year, obviously, but that's a lot of points for a team with that kind of defense to cover. So, All right. My third pick, we're going to go to Knoxville, Tennessee. The Georgia Bulldogs are taking on Tennessee Volunteers. And I am going to take the Bulldogs minus 10 here. I think something happened a couple weeks ago when they played Missouri. And them Tigers done woke Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs up. And they are out to kick everybody's ass in their way.
They started last week.
Dude, there's not any 3 teams in the country you could combine that would beat that team last week, I don't think.
No.
They were incredible. They were motivated. I think Kirby's got them locked in now after that Missouri game, it being as close as it was with them having the ball. Now they ended up turning it over, obviously, but Missouri had the ball with the chance to go down and score and take the lead. Now they ended up getting the turnover, going down, making a 2-score game, and ended up winning by 9 points. And I think Kirby's kind of used that as a little bit of a motivation tool to say, look, we're not going to be in that position again. We're coming out from the get-go. We're kicking everybody's ass, and then we're going to coast in the second half from here on out. Well on their way to a third national championship. They were incredible, totally bought in. And it kind of seems like everybody hates Tennessee in the East, right? Like all of the teams hate them because of how hot they got last year, and they thought they had finally arrived until they got brought back down to earth a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kirby went out to make a statement against Tennessee here this weekend too. So give me 10 points. That's not a big deal to me. I think they pull them out by 3 touchdowns probably. I know they can if they want to, and I got a feeling Kirby will.
Yeah, rivalry game like this, I wouldn't be surprised if, and you're right. Tennessee's been chirping a lot going into last year. Obviously, this season has not gone the way that they envisioned, but yeah, they're probably gonna get put back in their place. Unlike the other few weeks where they've gotten their ass kicked. But yeah, because Missouri gave them everything they wanted last week. And
and that's kind of been Georgia's MO all year long too, right? Anytime anybody got anything resembling a big head thinking they were on their way, then Georgia shows up, foot on the throat, crushes them, and just moves on to the next one. So I think this is going to be real similar.
Every week it's the same thing. It's one of the reasons that I took whoever I took against Georgia a couple of weeks ago is seems like every week there's a new opponent that somebody is saying, oh, this is the one that knocks Georgia, everybody in the media, everybody saying this is who's going to get Georgia. And the line is 14.5 or 10 or whatever it is. And all the money comes in on the other team. And every week Georgia beats the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And then the next week,
not getting me again. I can tell you that.
And, I was gonna say it's like you said, it's almost like Kirby Smart is like each week going like, all right, keep talking, and I'm gonna keep walking. So I like the pick. I think it's a good one, especially under 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there's no way I could play Tennessee here.
No, absolutely not. All right, Chad, number 4.
All right, give me the Tennessee Volunteers.
I swear to God, my next pick was going to be the Tennessee Volunteers at plus whatever that number is. I ain't even got it written down.
No, SMU Memphis over 65. So this is my total for the week, minus 110. Memphis has been giving up points to everyone, and SMU's been scoring points on everyone. Last 3 weeks, Tigers have given up 38, 50, and 42 to Charlotte, South Florida, and North Texas. Those are not 3 powerful offenses. Yeah. Yeah, 50 against South Florida is damn near egregious.
It's correct.
It's pathetic. Now, SMU's defense they've been strong, but they've also had the luxury of going against some really bad offenses as well. Tulsa, some of the other ones I can't even think of off the top of my head. So it's not like they've played, the 2001 Rams or anything. Memphis should be able to get me 20 points, and I think SMU can definitely fill out the rest. So, over 65 is my total for the week between those two.
Yeah, I really like that. Kind of like you said, Memphis can't stop anybody right now. I mean, it's just been an absolute disaster up there defensively. Now they score a ton, though. That's one thing they do. That's what's kind of kept their season alive. They just resorted to outscoring people, and we all know what SMU can do offensively. They're an incredible offensive team. I couldn't.
And Preston Stone is back too. He played last week.
Yeah, 65 seems way too low here.
Yeah, I was surprised it was this low. That's probably why it's going to go under. But yeah, I really like that number.
Yeah.
What did you 60? What 5?
5. Yeah.
All right, Hitch, you're up.
This line stinks, and I think that I like it a lot, which is probably bad.
Your Beavers.
Undefeated Washington sitting at number 5 at almost a field goal underdog to a 2-loss Oregon State team. Washington offense is very good, 3rd in overall success, 3rd in PPA, 6th in both rushing and passing PPA, and they're in the top 30 of the country in almost every offensive category that I looked at.
Mm-hmm.
But Oregon State is pretty good defensively. They're in the top half of the country in most of the defensive categories that match the ones that I looked at for Washington. I don't think they stop the Washington offense, right? I think maybe they slow down the Washington offense. And then I think the Beavers offense wins this game because on the other side, as good as their offense is, Washington's defense, not anything special. Yeah. And I even put here equally as bad on defense. 109th defensive PPA, 130th in rushing, 131st in rushing PPA and passing PPA. 102nd in giving up third down conversions, 115th giving up red zone touchdowns, right? They're in the bottom of the list when it comes to defensive stuff rate and preventing havoc. Oregon State's drop off from defense to offense, not nearly as dramatic, right?
No.
I'm not going to go through all those stats. It's taking too long to read them all, right? But just know they're there. And one of my favorite stats of all time, that's why it's going to bite me here. It's not a stat, sorry, a trend. Oregon State and Jonathan Smith are 16-1 against the spread since 2001 at home. So give me the Beavers at home in less than a field goal. This is my favorite game. 2.5 units on this one.
And what was the number at? 2.5?
2.5.
And 2.5 units?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you talking about the 16-1 at home under Smith there, and it's actually 16-1 with 16 wins as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not only that he's covering, he's winning at home too. I agree with you. Like as soon as I saw the line, I thought it was a rat line, but then you start thinking about it. That Washington defense is so bad. Utah hadn't been able to score on anybody this year without Cam Rising, right? And then they go in to Seattle and they just light up that defense. Damn near beat them last week. Oregon State's going to be able to slow this game down a good bit with their running game. That's one thing they do very well. So they're going to be able to keep Penix and that offense off the field, I think. Kind of prolonged drives, take time off the clock. And that defense has just been incredible all year long. So I do really like Oregon State here. It is weird to see it with the undefeated number 5 by their name, Washington Huskies, coming into town. But I do think they have the right team favored.
Well, and that's what I was going to say too. With all those stats that Oregon State, all the stats that Oregon State has that I didn't read off, is most of them are rushing stats. They're tops in the country in rushing. So the plan going into this has to be run the ball, keep it out of Penix and Washington's hands. I mean, that's the recipe for success, and I think that Oregon State, covers it well.
Put together some 10, 12 play drives, take time off the clock, and just don't give them as much of an opportunity to light up the scoreboard like they normally do. And even when they do have the opportunity, you have the kind of defense that can slow them down as well. So
it's supposed to rain too. 90% chance of rain in Dallas on Saturday, and winds over 10 miles an hour. So that only plays to the Beavers' hands too.
Yeah, they're not going to be throwing it
really
around.
There, so yeah, good pick. I love Oregon State this weekend. So it is kind of a rat line, but I do think they have the right team favored. So totally agree.
Yep.
I'm going to go out to the Big Ten for my 4th pick. Speaking of trends, this is one that just simply can't be ignored anymore. I don't care how low it goes. Give me the Iowa-Illinois under 32. When I saw that thing at 32, I didn't care about anything else. I was taking it. Nobody is scoring on this Iowa defense. It's crazy how good it is. And if I was a fan of them, I'd be so pissed off that I would be wasting this kind of defense with the offense that they have because they can't score either, right? But this Iowa defense has just been incredible all year long. They get another shutout last week. The punter is probably the most valuable player on their team, the way he flips fields over and over and over again. But yeah, I mean, they can't get these numbers low enough. I think last week's number closed at 29.5, 29, something like that.
It set a record.
Yeah, after setting a record the previous week. So they've set it 2 weeks in a row. This one got bumped up a little bit more because of our man Luke Altmaier, but I think he might be in trouble come Saturday. So give me the under 32. I just don't see how any team scores enough to get anywhere close to that number because nothing all year long has indicated that these numbers aren't going to go under the rest of the way.
Washington has dropped to it's dropped down to 1 now. They're a 1-point dog now. That's interesting. I still like Michigan State, but yeah, that's I wasn't expecting that. Okay, I think we're on what, pick 5?
Yes, pick 5.
All right, my last one of the sexier games of the weekend. East Carolina +3 against Navy, -118. East Carolina has sneakily been putting up solid numbers on defense last half of the season. They're 18th in the country on rushing play PPA. Obviously, Navy that's something that they're going to want to do. Look, both of these offenses are bad. The under may be a good play. I think it's in the low 40s, maybe even the 30s. But yeah, I like the Pirates to come out with the win. So they'll be in my plus money play here in a second. But give me the +3 -118 against the Midshipmen.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take your word for it. I didn't look into this game, so I don't have a lot of
You,
confidence.
man, easy win.
Yeah, sounds like it. What you got?
Man, that's crazy. That line dropped. I mean, I
He's
just
still
looked
stuck
at it.
on Washington over there.
I was just making sure when I looked at, because I was telling Diz before you got on, I was kind of finishing up almost up until we started recording, and like that was one of the ones I was looking at, and I was like, that's a whole 1.5 in like 2 hours. That's I don't like that.
Injury news. I wonder if some injury news came in for because the Huskies have some wide receivers that are questionable.
Yeah. I think one of them might be impactful. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, man, I've got 4 games here that I don't, or 3 games here that, man, I just don't.
I'll pick one for you. I know what they are.
All right. So, whoever is playing LSU, I can't remember. Right?
I'm on LSU. I'm on LSU 41.5.
Yeah. That one's Georgia State. The one that I kind of really like
Not
is,
in Atlanta, it's in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, so that's
Arkansas, right? Arkansas and FIU.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have any reason looking at numbers to think that. It's all narrative with, Sam Pittman being on the high. And I don't know if Arkansas can score 29 points against anybody, right? It's between that. Let's see. Give me West Virginia -6.5.
That's the other one. I'm on West Virginia too.
At home. Well, I was hoping that one of y'all would talk about one of those other 2 games a little bit, since I didn't look at either one of them. I just kind of was looking at it from the big point spread and nothing to gain from it.
I'll give it to you. Jaden Daniels should be the Heisman winner. He's incredible. He's going to keep trying to put points on the board. Georgia State's not playing in Atlanta. They have no home field advantage. They're going to get their ass kicked. There you go.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Perfect.
And I've actually got a huge underdog against an SEC team coming up in my last pick too. So we will get to talk about that.
All right. Well, good. Yeah. But I like, I watched West Virginia a few weeks ago against Oklahoma. I think it was. I like their offense. It can move the ball. Cincinnati, I've watched them twice. Yeah, I've watched them twice this year, and it's tough. Their offense is hard to watch, and they move the ball okay sometimes, but they stall out, don't convert third downs, and they don't, get into the red zone with chances to score. And I don't think that gets any easier this week with the West Virginia defense. They're, towards the upper middle part of the country when it comes to points per opportunity once an opponent crosses the 40-yard line. And Cincinnati only scores 75% of the time when they get to the red zone anyway. So that's pretty bad. And that's total scores, not just touchdowns.
Right.
I think that West Virginia can control the ball, running it and converting third downs. They're top 50 in the country when it comes to that. Maybe their offense does enough to put some points on the board against the Cincinnati defense, and I'll take West Virginia at home with the 6.5 under a touchdown. That's key.
Yeah. This is one of the other ones I mentioned. I have 2 other plays. One of them's LSU. The other one is West Virginia. So I like this play a lot.
All right, my fifth play here, we're going to take New Mexico State plus 24.5 on the road at Auburn this weekend.
That's your plus one there too?
No, it is not.
Okay.
I'm not taking them outright. But I do think this is a good spot for New Mexico State. They played really well this year. They can really run the ball, which I know kind of leans into Auburn's strength as well. Defensively, they're really good at stopping the run. I just kind of feel like Auburn coming off the huge blowout win of Arkansas last week. They're riding high, and then they're looking
Iron Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, Iron Bowl the following week, man, and that's such a big game for Hugh Freeze and that staff and those players. There's a lot of Alabama prep going in to this New Mexico State week here. So I think the players are kind of geared up a little bit after that big win at Arkansas, and then looking ahead to Alabama here. So when you're talking about 24.5 points against a pretty good Group of 5 team, I've watched New Mexico State a few times this year, and I've been pretty impressed with them. So I just think that's way too many points against a team that doesn't consistently score like Auburn doesn't. I know they broke out last week, but before that, they've really struggled moving the ball and getting the ball into the end zone. So I just think it's too many points. So I'm going to take New Mexico State plus 24.5 on the road here.
If their quarterback if New Mexico State's quarterback can hold on to the ball, he's pretty exciting. He can he can run around and do stuff, but he can be a little turnover prone. That's his only problem.
Yeah, that's right. So, all right, plus money play time, Chad. What you got?
All right, three team money liner. It is plus 386. East Carolina, Kansas State, Boise State. For just a unit. Nothing crazy.
Gotcha.
No need to be crazy.
Yeah, I went pretty conservative with mine this week too.
You always do. I respect that about you.
Yeah. I don't have the 308 the plus 380,000 odds or whatever coming in this week.
How many? So last week, how many of yours hit?
None, I don't think.
None. So Ole Miss got zero bit of help.
Yeah. Well, see, and the thing is, Ole Miss was obviously the one furthest away, but Miami had a chance there. Utah had a chance. Trying to think of who all else it was. Penn State had a chance there. Yeah. I mean, there were a few that were in the games. So TCU had a chance. They ended up covering the 10 for me, so they were at least within striking distance. But no, none of them hit. So
that's tough, man. That's tough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if 5 of them hit and 1 of them didn't, then it's still the same result. So it doesn't matter.
Good point.
Yeah. All right, Hitch, where you at?
I'm gonna do a 2-team underdog money line parlay. Okay. UCLA and North Carolina. Plus 860.
Ooh, 8 units.
All right, I don't like your odds on that one, but I guess we'll see what happens there. Who's North Carolina playing this weekend? I saw it earlier.
Clemson.
Boy, they've really turned it around the last couple of weeks. Seems like Dabo might have lit a fire under them after that phone call. Yeah. All right, so I've got a 2-leg money line parlay as well. This one only plus 148 though. So I told you really conservative this week, trying to get back to that minus 15 mark. So I've only got a couple weeks to do it. So I got to start climbing now. Going Georgia Southern.
Okay.
You like that one, Hitch? And Texas Tech. They're at home against Central Florida this week. I think Central Florida, coming off that blowout win against Oklahoma State, might have used all their energy. Got to go on the road. Texas Tech plays way better at home than they do on the road. So I just went ahead and parlayed those two together, plus 148. Not going to break the bank, but hopefully get me a little closer to the surface.
Exercising some restraint. I like to see that, Derek.
That's big.
Yeah, that's what I do, man.
Good job.
It's obviously way too late, but I am evolving a little bit.
No, never too late to practice good habits.
Is there anything else y'all were looking at this week, Chad? I know you said you're on LSU and
West Virginia as well.
Yeah, West Virginia. That was the other one.
I tried to find a reason to get on Pitt tonight, but then I remembered it's Pitt and that offense, so I decided against playing that game.
That makes sense.
I like UTSA tomorrow night against South Florida. It's 15.5, so kind of a big number, but South Florida, I don't think they're very good.
There's a pretty big game Saturday out in the Pac-12. What do y'all think about the Utah-Arizona game?
I wanted to get on Utah. I hate Utah's offense so much.
I do too. Yeah.
I wanted to get on Arizona.
And I think it's actually swapped. I think Arizona, as of today, had moved to -1. So I think they're actually favored now.
They are.
Yeah.
The
other game that I wanted to play, my number said Texas, but I want to play Iowa State at 7.5. They always play close in Ames, and I really want to take Iowa State. I may end up on it, but
I will too.
Yeah, Iowa State's one of those teams that's really turned it around as the year's gone on. They were playing pretty bad earlier in the year, and they've really salvaged their season and kind of turned it around a little bit.
They really have.
I wouldn't take that either, especially over a touchdown. That being the key number there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you couldn't get me to bet on the side, and the over is the only bet that is out there in my mind. But there's a fun one tomorrow night. It's going to be fun to watch, Colorado and Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's going to be fun. There's two offenses can go, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's probably the cure that Washington State offense needs right now is the Colorado defense on the other side of it.
Yeah,
they had really struggled the last few weeks.
They got pretty cured up last week against Cal.
Did they? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I hit the under.
They were really struggling.
Boy, they flirted with busting that under I had.
Themselves. Kansas State's gone up 2 points. They're up to 9.5 now. It was 7.5 earlier.
Damn.
Today.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And that game's in Lawrence, isn't it?
It is in Lawrence.
But Daniels is out, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I know he got hurt last week.
Yeah, he said he's coming back. He's already said he's coming back for next year.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, that's obviously
he kind of has to.
Well, yeah. I mean, they'll get a good 4 games out of him before he gets hurt again. It's kind of the story last year.
If JT Daniels is back, Rice is gonna beat the shit out of Charlotte.
Oh, was he hurt?
Okay, yeah, I think so. I look at the injury report. I told you I looked at this weekend.
I think there's something about on last week's show. I'll listen to it.
Yeah, it was concussion. It was a concussion, man.
Can't just shake those off.
We all make mistakes, but he is. I think probable. So that ain't but 2.5. That's less than the field goal. Like that Charlotte team is bad.
Yeah,
they are, but they took Memphis to overtime.
I know, man.
I know. I liked Rice as well. I could not find certainty that Daniels was playing. That was another one. And then the other
Daniels plays. I absolutely love Rice at that number.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I liked Wisconsin too, but man, that offense is
bad, man. It's
the Big Ten. I feel like the Big Ten this year has even worse offenses than normal. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even Ohio State's offense isn't going the way that it used to. Right. I mean, it's kind of a slog. They're winning on the defensive side of the ball right now. And Penn State, they're so hard to watch. I mean, I love their defense. It's one of the best in the entire country. But dude, that Drew Aller, whatever his name is, playing quarterback, God almighty.
Can't do it.
I couldn't. I think Rutgers and Penn State's going to be the ugliest game of the weekend. It's going to be. And that 20.5 seems like a lot.
Oh my God, I wanted Rutgers. I wanted Rutgers. There's no way that you beat Greg Schiano by 20 points if you're Penn State. Like you can't even score 20 points, I bet. But
didn't Iowa beat them 22-0 last week? Wasn't that who Iowa played?
They did. We'll disregard that, but yes.
Yeah. Fake news, Hitch. Come on, man. Do your fact checking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Hyperbolically speaking.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I guess we will get out of here on that then. Don't want Hitch hit you with any more fake stats to lead you down the hole of losing any more money. So
I don't look any of these stats up. I just
You just know.
you literally make them up.
yes, quite literally.
Make them up as we go. All right. Well, yeah, that's good for our credibility then. So I'm sure things will start going a lot better for us after people get wind of that. So,
Hey, you think when we go to if we go to the basketball games, we can sit in the media section?
No.
there's no chance.
We went to the girls' game last night, and we walked by, and I told Blake, I was like, "Oh, this is where I have to go. I have to sit here." And she was like, "Why?" I was like, "I'm part of the media." And she was like, "If you sit there, they will throw us out." So we'll try it next. I didn't. I was scared of her.
Yeah. Just pull the show up on your phone and for proof that you actually do this, right? So you just got to go through the proper credential process the next time, though.
Yeah.
We'll let you slide once.
All right, I'll report back.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we will get back with y'all next week before Thanksgiving. We'll do picks again, and we'll see how we do. See if I get a little closer to that minus 15 that I want so badly.
What a goal!
All right, guys. Well, Chad, I know you're flying in next week. Hope to see you while you're down. And if that's the case,
plenty of rest. Gonna wear them arms out.
Yeah.
All right. I hate Anthony. I love you, Dids. Bye, everyone.
Bye. I love y'all.
All right, see you guys.